Opeth, the masters of progressive music that somehow managed to fuse 70s folky prog rock with really miserable technical death metal. As you can see from my surroundings, I'm currently in the process of moving and probably sound absolutely horrendous, for which I am very sorry. But that does not mean that the content has to stop. And so today I wanted to do a cool little deep dive on Opeth, one of my absolute favourite bands of all time, and give you a wonderful little insight on what exactly it is that makes Opeth music sound Opethy. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and please let me know in the comments down below which band you'd like to see a deep dive on in the future. Let's do this!
One of Opeth's most recognisable traits is their use of the 12/8 time signature, instead of a straight 4/4 backbeat like most rock and metal. This gives their music a driving, more bouncy feel that's super iconic to their sound. Specifically, there's one particular 12/8 rhythm that they often abuse in their acoustic sections. It has this percussive gallopy feel that drives the music forward in a more folky fashion. What's interesting about this rhythm is that it can be counted both as 6/8 or as 3/4 at the same time, since it's not entirely clear where the accents are supposed to be. Opeth know this and use it to their favour by playing around with both of them freely. If you'd like to learn more about all of the concepts talked about in today's video and unlock access to my entire archive of guitar exercises, masterclasses and song lessons, then click the link in the description down below and get started at Bradley Hall's Guitar School with a free 7-day free trial on me. Most of Opeth's sorrowful sound actually comes from its harmony. They mainly rely on exploiting the Aeolian sound in a less conventional way than most music. Treating it less as a normal minor key and more as a colour. One way they create this colour is by using unrelated minor chords. These are chords that don't naturally live in the same key. The most common way to do this is playing two minor chords set a third apart, like moving from A minor to C minor. This creates a jarring shift that has a very distinctive, dark cinematic vibe.
In too deep, fade.
They also rely heavily on minor add-9 chords. These chords are just like the basic minor triad, but with an added ninth or second on top. This creates a nasty half-step cluster with the third that really accentuates that natural Aeolian sound. This is the sorrow chord, so it's no wonder Opeth loves them. last two resources were just little tricks that can be added to chord progressions. Opeth's harmony is kind of hard to classify since they rarely repeat chord progressions and instead rely on using these resources in a more creative way. Still, there can be exceptions to this, like their signature 1 to minor 5 chord progression. Most minor songs use a major 5 as a dominant to force a resolution, but Opeth stays fully in a natural minor setting. It removes the relief of the usual resolution and keeps the vibe cold and sorrowy as it should be.
Blank face in the window pane. As the star.
While the flat 5 isn't anything fancy in metal, Opeth doesn't just use it in the usual dumb caveman or bluesy riff context. Instead, they insist on it heavily by making it part of the chord itself. This means using diminished chords as a colour rather than just the usual passing tones, creating a super dark atmosphere that sits just right in their music.
Heal myself. A feather.
That being said, they do use it a lot in their heavier riffs in a more conventional way. The other signature sound of Opeth's riffs is the Phrygian dominant scale. These two resources are pretty common within metal, but what makes them stand out is the way they play around with them by using bouncy, syncopated rhythms, sometimes adding some quirky chromatics as well. Phrygian dominant is not just used for evil riffing, but it's also the go-to exotic scale for their more folky bits. Other than the usual Phrygian dominant, they'll often use the Mixolydian and Dorian modes too, or even other weirder scales from time to time.
Darkness waning slowly. A coil fall that was veiled around me. Devil cracked the earthly shell for told she was the one. The hope into the room and said you inside. My tears are dead, but so you take comfort in it.
This use of Mixolydian and all the other scales is heavily rooted in 70s prog rock. And even though most big brain prog metal bands are influenced by it to some extent, Opeth stands out by making it a cornerstone of their music. massive part of that 70s identity that's often overlooked is their use of the mellotron. A mellotron is a big old keyboard that plays back recordings of violins and flutes from physical tape. So it's basically the world's first sampler. Its sound is super distinctive, with its slightly out-of-tune warble that perfectly complements the band's bleak atmospheres with a more melancholic touch.
Trust in you.
As you'd expect from a prog band, they aren't afraid to use odd time signatures either. But instead of throwing together random time signatures to create that typically chaotic prog vibe, Opeth uses odd meters to create more organic yet edgy rhythms. Despite all of the complex rhythms and wacky harmony, Opeth's melodies are actually surprisingly simple most of the time. Many of their melodies are built with a pretty predictable structure, which consists of starting with one long, soaring line and then leaving space for the rest of the band to fill in. Another melodic trick they use pretty often is just repeating one single note in a set rhythmic pattern, prioritizing groove over melodic complexity.
I can see the meaning of it. Burn the ocean, break the spell, heal myself. A feather. Devil cracked the earthly shelf who told you was the one. The hope into the room and said you.
Having simple melodic lines is an essential part of the Opeth sound, and truth is, most successful prog bands rely on some very predictable elements to balance out the weirdness and to tie the whole thing together. By keeping the melody straightforward, they give the listener something to latch onto while the rest of the arrangement goes off the rails.